Welcome to IE News. I'm Kristen Bob.
And I'm Chris Johnson.
We have a great show in store for you.
We have the top 10 radio songs, the latest entertainment news, and a sports report you don't want to miss.
We have all that and more for your enjoyment coming up here on IE News. Welcome to this edition of IE News. First, these news stories. Child Development Centers is holding an annual Marie Callender's Pie Sale. If you're not in the mood for baking this Thanksgiving, then you don't have to. The LBCC Child Development Centers are holding their annual Marie Callender's Pie Sale. If you place your order by Monday, November 15th, then your pie will be ready for pickup on Wednesday, the 24th. Proceeds go towards CDC's educational supplies. You can find more information on how to place an order at www.mariecallenders.com.
Great news for spring 2011 transfer students. CSULB is extending the application deadline for spring 2011 transfers until November 10th due to funding from the recently passed state budget. Students who will complete the CSU minimum transfer requirements by the end of the fall 2010 semester are eligible. For more information, visit www.transfer.lbcc.edu.
Leaders across campus is recruiting for their mentor program. They're in search of students who want to be a positive role model to another LBCC student. Requirements are you must be enrolled for at least 2 semesters and have a 3.0 GPA. If interested, email leaders@lbcc.edu for more details.
The CARE program at LBCC assists low-income students with their education goals. CARE program students are in need of hygiene donations such as shampoo, lotion, and soap. Donations are being requested by November 30th. Contact CARE at 562-938-4088 for more information.
We will have the top 10 radio countdown and IE News sports wrap up right after these messages.
Welcome back. We have DJ Kana Kashiwadani in the KLBC studio with your top 10 music countdown.
Hi, I'm DJ Kana from KLBC studio. I have the top 10 songs playing on the radio this week. Starting the countdown at number 10, we have Bottoms Up by Trey Songz featuring Nicki Minaj. Number 9, Mine by Taylor Swift. Number 8, I Like It by Enrique Iglesias featuring Pitbull. Number 7, Only Girl in the World by Rihanna. Number 6, Just a Dream by Nelly. Number 5, Like a G6 by Far East Movement featuring Cadillacs and Dev. Number 4, Dynamite by Tayo Cruz. And number 3, Teenage Dream by Katy Perry. Number 2, DJ Got Us Falling in Love by Usher featuring Pitbull. Finally, number 1, Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars. If you like pop music, and especially Japanese pop, you can tune into my show, Kana's J-Pop Show, on Wednesday at 7 to 8 p.m. on klbc.org, broadcasting 6 to 10 a.m. Or you can tune into our sister station, kctyfm.org, broadcasting 107.7 FM. I'm DJ Kana. See you next time.
Thanks, Kana. Are you confused with the constant weather change? IE News weather reporter Rico James has the inside scoop on what to expect for this up-and-coming week.
Exciting weather here in the west and across the U.S. Let's begin with the look towards the Atlantic, where the fall fury has certainly taken its toll over parts of the East Coast with severe thunderstorms, isolated showers. Flash flood warnings continue along the eastern seaboard as those strong winds continue to push into the mid-levels. Still, tornado concerns in areas of the deep south. Above average temperatures over most of the regions, which means we could see a break from that wet weather in cities like New York, Chicago, St. Louis, Nashville, Miami, and other areas on the East Coast. Airport delays are still a factor as a result of all the wet weather, especially for those traveling on the East Coast. And in the Pacific Northwest, more rain and shower headed into the Washington, Seattle area. Some of that will transition into some snow as it moves into the higher elevations. Winds picking up throughout the northern plains. An area of pressure just off the coast that's headed towards the Four Corners could also leave some rain as that system heads east, which could mean more wet weather for us here in the Southwest. Let's take a closer look at home. As we look across the Southland, Santa winds picking up at about 40 miles an hour, pushing that marine layer away just a little bit sooner so we get more sunshine here in Southern California. 74 degrees in Malibu, 76 in Santa Monica, 78 in West Covina. Downtown Los Angeles checks in at 78 as well. And here at home in Long Beach, a very nice 80 degrees. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. Thursday, a threat of rain. Temperatures holding steady at 69. More of the same on Friday, but as we move into the weekend, there will be some sunshine. 70 degrees will be the high, and that will take us well into Sunday. And as we begin a brand new work week, temperatures pick up just a bit with that sunshine. 75 degrees being the high, 54 being the low. And as we look through the Long Beach City webcam at Ocean Boulevard here in Long Beach, great place to go if you haven't been there before, even on cool nights. That's the weather for this edition of IE News. I'm Rico James. Back to you.
Thanks, Rico. I think I'll be wearing something cool this weekend. Now we have Fofwina Fayu for a look at the Vikings scoreboard.
Hello, I'm Fofwina Fayu, and welcome to this sports segment here on IE News, where we bring you all the latest updates in sports news here at Long Beach City College. We'll begin with a look at the women's soccer team, winning their match against Pasadena, improving its conference record to 5-2-1. The Vikings scored early with a header goal in the 11th minute, putting LBCC up 1-0. The score remained the same heading into halftime. The second half started with such competition on both sides of the ball. In the 86th minute of the game, Vikings dribbled past two Pasadena defenders and drilled a 25-yarder into the back of the net, ending the game with a score of 2-1. LBCC walked away with the win, and they'll be back in action again this week against Cerritos College. The coach had this to say about their team's preparations.
Well, we definitely got to keep working hard. So far, the team's been doing very well. Right now, we're in second place, and we're in playoff contention. So the key thing is to keep working hard at practice, learn from our mistakes. We do a lot of videoing, so we go over film and go over that stuff, and then we're ready for the next game.
Now, let's take a timeout and step away from the dry grass and hard floor courts and dive our way into the pool where the men's water polo team is getting ready for a really tough game this week. But before we get into more details about the upcoming game, the Vikings, who is ranked 4th in the state, defeated rival Cerritos College, securing the top seed heading into the playoffs. LBCC held a very close 3-2 lead at the end of the first quarter and up 8-5 at halftime before moving up ahead with 5 goals in the third quarter. A missed shot by Cerritos gave the Vikings the advantage heading into the fourth quarter with a 13-7 score. LBCC played a strong defensive fourth quarter and held Cerritos to a lone goal and added a pair of scores of its own to close out the game. Now, continuing with a look at the Vikings' upcoming game, with an amazing undefeated 5-0 conference record, the Vikings will head into the first round of playoffs as the top team. If LBCC wins, they'll advance to the championship game. I caught up with the coach after practice, and here's what he had to say about their team's preparation as they get ready for the playoffs.
Well, I think the conference games that we've had so far are all just for us to get, the top seed at our conference tournament. So it's all been for placement at this point. And that was our goal going into the season, was to try to win a conference championship first and foremost. So being the #1 seed has its advantages, because the other top 2 teams in our conference, being Mount Sac and Cerritos, are going to have to battle it out in the semifinal game, where, you know, we should get an easier path to that final game. So, you know, if everything kind of works out as it should, then we're going to find ourselves, you know, in a conference championship game in hopes to win yet another conference championship, which has been a goal of ours all season long.
While we're still on the sport of water polo, the men's team are not the only ones that are heading into the road to a championship. The women's water polo team, ranked 2nd in the state, will also head into the playoffs after pulling a 10-8 conference victory over Cerritos College. They'll be back in action again when playoffs start. We wish both teams the best of luck. That is it for us today. Tune in next time for more sports updates here on IE News. Thanks for watching, and go Vikings.
Thanks, Fo. We have a red carpet premiere and a spotlight interview with ASB Vice President Nicole Santiago when we come back.
I took my best step in 1991.
I took my best step in 1985.
I took my best step in 1980.
And I took my best step in 1995.
I took my best step in 1991.
Welcome back. We have a red carpet premiere of a new film with the IE News team of reporters Tyree Love, Dee Dee Smith, and Tiana Carson for the first look at the comedy musical Church.
Tyree Love from IE News, here at the red carpet movie premiere of Church. Let's take a look inside.
Well, I feel like giving God the glory, all the glory, all the glory. I feel like...
Church is a musical comedy drama based on the activities at an African-American church. The star actor Darius McCray tries to avoid doing wrong to help out the church when it becomes in debt and threatened to be foreclosed. Let's go to co-reporter Tiana Carson, who caught up with Bishop Kenneth Ulmer to see what it took to get the event started.
I think it was just a vision of the our pastor of Christian education, really, LaRoya, and she had a vision to show this and to screen it and to the message behind the movie. I think she wanted to expose it, and she contacted the right people, and that's how we got here.
Got a chance to speak to executive producer Tommy Ross a little bit about the movie. Let's see what he had to say.
Well, the movie is a basic story of the prodigal son who leaves the church after getting busted for drugs. He returns to the church 5 years later to help inspire the church to overcome its challenges, to renew his love life with his fiancée, and to help the church overcome the corrupt deacon who's trying to undermine the financial situation of the church.
Co-reporter Deandra Smith was able to catch up with a few of the actors to talk about their role in the movie Church.
Well, I play a real estate developer, and I'm the villain in the film. I don't want to tell it much more than that. You have to watch the movie to find out the ins and outs of what's going on. But I have big plans for the church. I'm offering them lots of money to move, and they can have a big cathedral in a brand new development. All they have to do is just sign the land over to me.
Sounds like wolf in sheep clothing.
Yes.
Yeah, Dee Dee, I play Deacon Cole. I'm a man who is the head deacon of the church, and I'm in charge of praise and worship and just encouraging the members of the church to hold on through the...
I played Nikki, and she is the pastor's daughter, and also the fiance of the guy that comes in, played by Darius McCrary, and he leaves me at the altar on our wedding day. Never tells me that he got in trouble and he ended up going to jail, and he comes back to kind of save the church.
IE News reporter Tiana Carson caught up with attendees to get their reaction of the movie.
What brought you out to this event?
Well, the excitement of the new movie, The Church, that was introduced to me on a radio show by a good friend of mine, Tyree Love Show. And I'm just looking forward to this great time in the Lord and celebrating about the church.
It was great. I enjoyed it very much. It's a good family movie, and that's what I like. Yeah.
I would come and see it again, if I could.
Totally enjoyed it. Best $10 I spent in 2010.
But I am so glad I came tonight. It was excellent. And when I heard Daryl Coley was in it, I had to come here. I came all the way from Compton, and I didn't regret it. I came by myself, and I am very satisfied. I thank God that I came tonight.
For more information, go to www.churchthefilm.com. Be sure to check out the film. Special correspondents Tiana Carson and DeAndre Smith. I'm Tyree Love reporting for IE News.
Thanks, guys. It takes good teamwork to cover a big movie premiere. Now we go out to my co-anchor, Kristen Bott, for a two-way interview with ASB Vice President Nicole Santiago.
Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of IE News' Spotlight Interview, where today I have with me Long Beach City College's Fall 2010 ASB Vice President Nicole Santiago. Hi, Nicole. How are you doing?
Good. Hi, Kristen.
Can we first start off by you telling us a little bit about your background in ASB?
Well, I started off as Fall 2009 ASB Rep of Communications, and then I kind of branched on to being the Rep of Athletics, and now as the Fall 2010 ASB Vice President.
Oh, cool. So what inspired you to run for Vice President?
I further wanted to contribute to the positive atmosphere while recognizing, you know, everyone's cultural and ethnic differences and backgrounds, and to further represent the student body here.
Okay, and what have you learned from being Vice President?
I learned how to be very diplomatic. I learned how to work with people on many levels, on a lot of different spectrums.
Okay, and what is going on in the ASB today?
We're really working on revamping not only our Constitution, but also our communication amongst the faculty, staff, administration, and the students.
And how are you guys doing that?
Through working on further communicating and gaining publicity, not just for the students here, but also the budget and what the students are spending their money on.
And can you tell us a little bit more about the budget? Do you know anything about the budget?
Yeah, we're working on, hopefully, we're working on not just specific line items in the budget, but also where we're spending our money and being more cautious, especially during these times.
Do you know what we're spending the most of our money on here at Long Beach City College?
We're spending a lot of it now on marketing and to further gain publicity for the students and the school.
Okay, and what is the biggest problem facing ASB today?
I would say a lot of the communication. We really want to, like I said, Kristen, we really want to work on revamping not just the communication, but also the Constitution, and just to get rid of any of the loopholes and the assumptions of the positions and what ASB has been doing.
Okay, and what's next for you?
Well, what's next for me is I'm going to be running for Spring 2011 ASB President.
Okay, and if anybody really wants to run for ASB, how would they go about doing so?
Well, we now have elections that will be taking place online at www.lbcc.edu/studentlife/elections. And you can pull up an application for both elected and appointed positions. And elected applications are due this Friday, November 9th at 9 a.m., as well as a mandatory candidates meeting at 10 a.m., and we'll also be hosting new Meet the Candidate forums that will be taking place next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. And we just have a lot of involvement and a lot of room to get connected here on campus. So if you are interested, I really want to encourage you to not only vote, but also to run for either an elected or appointed position at both campuses.
Okay, and what are the qualifications to run?
You have to have a 2.5 GPA in order to hold any of the elected positions, which is president, vice president, treasurer, trustee, and, I'm sorry, not treasurer, trustee and secretary. And for the appointed positions, you have to have at least a 2.0 GPA.
Okay, and I know being involved in ASB, you attend a lot of community events. What are the the latest community events that you've participated in?
I recently participated in an annual shaving event in which I shaved my head, and the Career Academy of Beauty hosted this event in the beginning of October. So I've had my head shaved for approximately pretty much a month, and I did it to be further an advocate for not just the cancer patients, but also the community and those that are affected by cancer.
That's really brave. Were you nervous at all before you shaved your head?
I was, and I didn't. A friend of mine on the ASB had come to me and asked me for support with this cause, and because a woman was in the 4th stage of brain cancer and living with me at the time, I was easily able to empathize with her, and my hands were down, and I said, of course I would shave my head for this.
Well, that's really brave. What are some events coming up for the rest of the semester here at Long Beach City College?
Well, we're working on Spring Sing events that will be coming up in the spring of 2011, excuse me. And we're actually having the homecoming event, so we've got the Fluke Day and a lot of other events going on this week, actually, and the homecoming is this Saturday.
Okay, that sounds great. I want to thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's it for this week's Spotlight interview. Until next time, I'm Kristen Bott for IE News.
Thanks, Kristen. It's nice to see people like Nicole working hard to make student life better for current and future students. When we come back, we'll have a relationship study, and we'll talk to the head of our radio program, Ken Borgers. So don't change the channel.
Welcome back. Do relationships help or hinder a student's education? IE News reporters Tiana Carson and Tyree Love asked students what they thought.
Hi, I'm Tiana Carson.
And I'm Tyree Love.
We're here at Long Beach City College on the LAC campus.
That's right. Tiana and I are going to talk to some students to see how they feel about school and relationships.
So come with us while we get our fellow students' inputs. Being in a relationship takes a lot of time and effort. So does being a student. Males and females can both agree on that.
That's not the only thing. Because male and females are so different, we thought there would be a variety of answers to our questions. But a lot of the answers were similar.
Dating and relationships are a part of life, but higher education can help you progress in life. Can the two really go hand in hand? What is more beneficial to students, being single or being in a relationship, and why?
Well, most would say being single because you have time and you could focus on what you're doing, homework, other things won't distract you from your goals. But if you have the right person, I think being in a relationship is very motivating. If the person motivates you to do well in school and your dreams, I think it's beneficial.
Well, for me, since I'm in a relationship, I actually like it because she's always there for me, and she doesn't let me give up in school and stuff, even though when I do want to. She helps me motivate me in a way. And that's what I want. I want somebody that's gonna keep me towards the path of my goals. So that's a good thing.
How many hours per day would you say you spend contacting your significant other?
Probably 0 because I don't have a significant other right now.
If you did have one, how much time would you spend?
I'd say probably a good 7 hours of the day texting, and then the rest would be in person.
Dudes like to text all hours of the day. I don't understand why. I could be sleeping, they'll get mad because I'm not texting them. I'm sleeping, come on.
So you think it's better to be single too while you're in school?
Yeah, definitely.
It takes up too much time.
Yeah, it's too much. Sucks kind of, but it's cool though. When you do have free time, yeah, you need somebody, you gotta get it. But other than that,
you do have free time.
Yeah, when. That's maybe out of 100%, 8% free time.
Personally, I think relationships are great, but my focus right now is school, and relationships will have to wait.
I wouldn't say all that, but encouragement in a relationship does go a long way.
And if the relationship is healthy and fulfilling, then it helps life as a student run more smoothly.
For more information on balancing academics and relationships, visit www.liftscripts.com.
Thank you for tuning in to our relationship studies.
I'm Tiana Carson.
And I'm Tyree Love for IE News.
Thanks, Tyree and Tiana. Now let's go back to Tiana Carson, who interviews the head of our radio program, Ken Borgers.
Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of IE News Spotlight Interview. I'm here with Ken Borgers, the advisor for KLBC radio station. How are you doing today, Ken?
Hi, Tiana. Good to be with you.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, what is the history behind the radio station here at Long Beach City College?
Long Beach City's radio history goes back probably 40 years. We were originally in a little broom closet downstairs in E building, and then gradually expanded out to the ping pong table, pool table area there underneath in the basement of E building. Eventually went through a lot of iterations. We were a cable FM channel for Lakewood for a while. Now we're on the internet, and we broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. Students do all the programming themselves. They run the radio station. I just act as the advisor.
Okay. For a student, after leaving the radio program, what jobs can they look forward to in the radio industry?
Oh, we have people around town working in all different areas. Probably our biggest success story right now is DJ K-Quick. She's on K-Day FM, and she does Saturdays from 6 to 10 p.m. We have a guy working down in J-Corps. J-Corps' 8 stations in San Diego. They bounce him around. He was on KPRI originally. And we have a lot of people behind the scenes, too, as producers. One of our guys, Michael Ramos, is the producer for Rick Dees now. So there are opportunities in front of the microphone and behind the microphone.
Okay, now, there are talks about having a camera rolling live while the radio station is going. Whose idea was that?
I think that was Mr. Robert Hirsch's idea, who is the TV person here at Long Beach City College. And it's a great idea because increasingly, you're not just on radio now. All media is multimedia, so radio people have to be adept at playing to the camera, too. So having the camera in there streaming while the students are running their radio shows is great experience for them and gets them used to the larger media world, which they're going to have to be involved in if they're going to be in radio.
Okay. How did you get your start in radio?
I started in school. I went to USC, and at the time KUSC was run by students. It's now professionally staffed, but I started at the college radio station there, and then I got my first commercial job. And let me just give a little plug here. It's a great thing for students to know about if you don't know about it. Southern California Broadcasters Association, scba.com, and they list all the jobs in Southern California in radio and television. And I got my first job from a listing there.
Well, I'm told you have a great story about hiring your sister at KLON. Would you tell us about that?
My sister Helen is the afternoon drive time person on KLON now. It's now KKJZ. It's the commercial jazz station, the non-commercial jazz station at Cal State Long Beach. Helen has been there as the afternoon host for 30 years. She's the best known female jazz person in radio. But this was, going back 30 years, I was working at KLON as the program director at that time, and the person who was doing a vocal jazz program got sick. It was really one of those stories that you hear about, and I had to ask Helen to come in as a volunteer and do the membership. This was before computers, and Helen was running the membership for the radio station on 5x8 cards. She was typing, and suddenly I got this call that the vocal jazz person wasn't going to make it 10 minutes before the show. And I said, Helen, can you go in and do a vocal jazz program? Well, Helen was a big jazz fan from the time she was young. She was a huge fan of Ella Fitzgerald. So I put her in the studio, and I spent about 5 minutes showing her how the equipment worked, and she subbed as the host of that show. And she never looked back. She took that show over and became the host of the weekly show. From there, worked into a daily show, and she's now, like I say, the best-known female jazz personality in America.
It's really a great story.
Where can students find more information, students that are interested in the radio program?
Okay, go to klbc.org. That's our website. 938-4800 is the number of the radio station. That's area code 562-938-4800. Or come on, just stop by G Building, G139, where KLBC is located, and talk to the students in there. Be happy to have you come in and take a tour.
Mr. Burgess, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate your help.
Thank you, Tiana.
Right, that was our Spotlight interview for the week. I'm Tiana Carson, IE News.
Thank you, Tiana. We would like to say thank you for watching this edition of IE News.
See you next time.